all my beautiful little unicorns, and welcome back to my channel. If this is the first time that you're on my channel, my name is Vanessa and I, and I would like to welcome you into the fam. So you've read the title, you know what today's pick a card reading is all about. We're going to be figuring out what is going on with your twin flame situation. So this applies to singles as well as those of you who are in a relationship. This reading is designed to give you further insight into the future of your love life, as well as how current situations are affecting your romantic future. So in order to help you figure out all the nitty-gritty little details about your twin flame relationship, I have prepared 4 groups that you can choose from, and I would like you to pick one of these 4 groups intuitively. So how this works is that you pick whichever pile of cards speaks to you the most, and then you scroll down to the description box. There is an area where there are timestamps, so you can click the timestamp of the group that you chose and you'll be fast forwarded to your reading. So the 4 pile of cards that you can choose from today all correspond to a deck, but do know that each group is going to have different cards involved in the reading. So just because you have, for example, picked this 3rd deck doesn't mean that all of the cards within your reading are going to just be cards that are contained in this deck. There's going to be a fun, colorful mixture of oracle cards, tarot cards, as well as charms within each and every one of these readings. So the 4 groups that I have prepared for you are as follows. Group number 1 corresponds to the Gentle Heart Tarot deck, which is in fact my very own tarot deck that I published. I will leave the link to that down below in the description box. The 2nd pile of cards represents the Angel Answers Oracle deck. The 3rd pile of cards, or 3rd group, however you would like to call it, represents the Whispers of Love Oracle deck. And last but not least, the 4th group represents the Starseed Oracle deck. I will leave the names of the decks as well as their authors in the description box in case you're interested in any of these cards. So I don't want to waste too much time blabbering within the intro of this video. I'd rather get into your readings. So I will be starting off with the 1st group, which corresponds to the Gentle Heart Tarot deck. And to all of my other lovely groups, I will catch you at the click of your timestamp. Hello, group number 1, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the Gentle Heart Tarot deck. Amazing choice. Let's get straight into your twin flame reading in order to figure out what's going on between you and your twin flame. First and foremost, we have the 9 of Crystals. So in the 9 of Crystals, I can definitely see that one of you is hurt. So either you or your twin flame is going through a rough patch, maybe even both of you, and you need a little bit of time to recuperate and regain your strength before you can be together, before the relationship is truly healthy for you both to actively be engaged in. So let's move further into your reading to find out some more details. Next up, we have the Knight of Crystals reversed. So I can definitely see here that some earthly affairs need to be sorted first. So think paying bills, think switching jobs, think building a business enterprise. Moving further up the corporate ladder, this really depends on what path that you've chosen, but I do see here in the Knight of Crystals reversed that there are a few delays of you and your twin flame getting together due to work. Next up, we have the Queen of Swords. Now, group number 1, in the Queen of Swords, I can definitely see here that you're both people who are intelligent and very witty, very eloquent. You enjoy spending time with people that you can have deep conversations with. You're not really about that shallow conversation life, and overall that's just something that you don't want to miss whatsoever. But when you're really tired, that's definitely something that you're both not really in the mood to do. You're not really in the mood for conversation and to chat a lot, which is maybe why you need to spend a little bit of time recuperating first. So we have a few charms here. We have a feather down down here, we have an arrow as well as this looks like a rhino. So I can definitely see a bit of a stubborn streak here within your twin flame. And I do see here in the arrow that they're very protective over themselves, their work commitments, and their ego. So do know here that what's keeping you and your twin flame from living your best lives with one another is the fact that they are so focused on work, and it's so important for them to reach certain goals before they can fully drop into a romantic space, before they can fully trust another human being with their heart. In the feather, I do see that they have a very gentle side to them naturally, but this is just not what has been showing recently, and this is not the side of themselves that they've been tapping into. Next up, we have the ear. So the ear is a really amazing card. This is a card that foretells good news. So I do want you to know here that in correspondence to you and your twin flame relationship, you're going to get word of amazing news soon. So this may be them reaching that next financial target, or you just moving into a space where all of a sudden it's not work that's taking up so much of your energy anymore. You actually truly do have time for love. Next up, we have the handshake. So I do see here in the handshake that your twin flame is still a stranger, and that meeting, that initial time that you're going to meet them, that is like going to be life-changing. So you're immediately going to know when you meet your twin flame that something is different between you and this person. They are not like the other friends or family that you have close to you. You can immediately sense that between you and your twin flame, there's just a whole nother dynamic, a whole nother layer to the connection. Next up, we have the arrow. So the arrow already showed up when we used a few charms for you, group number 1. Now, the arrow is a sign that you're on the right path in regards to an aspect in your life. So I do want you to know, group number 1, that you're on the right path to meeting your twin flame. You're right on track to having them show up in your life, even though there are still some minor delays. This is more just a delay in your professional life. So not necessarily you meeting a lot of people who you don't jive with, but you being ready to have the next person who comes into your life be your twin flame as soon as your work commitments have been sorted out. Next, we have the club. So I do see here in the club that part of the holdup, or part of what may make things take a little longer, could be, for example, a boss or a coworker who is being really difficult and just delaying the entire process of you meeting your twin flame. So they're maybe delaying this on purpose. They're keeping you in longer because they just kind of like that sense of control. They like that feeling of, having power over you. So this is something that I want you to look out for, group number 1. Do know that sometimes friends and family members can get jealous, especially when it comes to you having romantic love within your life. And that's another thing that I can see here in the club, where someone may try to sabotage a romantic relationship of yours. And to be really specific, your twin flame relationship, because this person notices how your twin flame, it's just a whole nother story. It's not like the people who you have fancied or been with before. This connection is something groundbreaking and new. Next up, we have the heart of the matter. So I do see here in the heart of the matter, and I'm just going to lay your feather on top of this card, that there is more going on than meets the eye. And the heart of the matter corresponds to the number 22. Let me just show you that, group number 1. Up here, we have the number 22. This is a master number. This is a really interesting number to have showed up within your twin flame reading. So this could be that your twin flame's life path number is in actuality a 22, because one thing that is going on within your reading is that there's more than meets the eye. There are deeper underlying symbols as well as messages within your reading about your twin flame, group number 1. So do know that while we have a lot going on the surface, a lot of depictions, a lot of messages, this reading is so multifaceted and multi-layered for your twin flame situation specifically that there is a lot more than we have uncovered so far. Let's see what else that we have. Okay, we have the number 44 next. Group number 1. What are the chances that you receive the number 44 in a card right after we received the master number 22? This is such a powerful connection that I can see here with your twin flame. This is all about getting to know each other. That's what this number 44 stands for. And I do want you to understand here that such a strong connection is definitely a once in a lifetime thing. Of course, twin flames can potentially show up more than once, but I see that this connection in particular, group number 1, that you are meant to have as a twin flame is a once in a lifetime thing. Now, the number 22 is the master number that is really superior when it comes to being grounded, when it comes to having balance. And the number 44 is also a number that is strongly rooted in emotional maturity and just overall building a life together for the long run. So neither you nor your twin flame are going to feel like you're just in this relationship momentarily or just because it feels good right now. I can definitely see here and get to know each other in correspondence to the number 44 that it's so important for you to lay a solid foundation and to ensure that you're building a solid future with one another. So you both take the relationship really seriously. Next up, we have demonstrating love. This corresponds to the number 48. And I do want you to know here in the number 48 that we have another symbol for you, group number 1. So as we already have established here in the heart of the matter and that there's more going on that meets the eye within your reading, there's just more and more that we are uncovering, group number 1, and it is so interesting and intricate. Let me explain to you. So first we had the number 22, right? Then we had the number 44. So 22 times 2 equates to 44. Another thing that we have here in the number 48 is the fact that 4 is exactly half of 8, right? So 8 divided by 2, then we receive the number 4. So I do see here in demonstrating love that all of these cards go together in a very interesting sequence. Also keep in mind that these oracle cards do not go up to the number 88. So this may just be a way of the universe telling us that this is a continuation of this number sequence, but using, of course, what is at hand. So we're not continuing with 88, but 48, which demonstrates a very similar numerological kind of logic like we had here in 22 and 44. So I can see here in demonstrating love that it's so important for you to find out what is important to your twin flame and act on it. That is how you build your solid foundation. That is how you and your twin flame are going to bond with one another. Both of you love the love language of acts of service. Your twin flame really does resonate with that and finds the most enjoyment and security when they see you actually sticking to your word and actually doing what you said that you'll do. So group number 1, if you want to impress your twin flame or make them feel safe and taken care for and loved, then definitely make sure that you're showing them acts of service. Next up, we have the pyrite. The pyrite is all about allowing abundance and money to flow in, group number 1. So let's just add a little actual pyrite into your reading. This is the pyrite stone. It's also known as the fool's gold, and you can already see why. It looks like a little gold nugget. So this is a really amazing sign to show up within your reading, group number 1, because it stands for allowing money to flow in. So I see that you and your twin flame are going to have a prosperous future with one another financially. So finances are important, security is important, and you're definitely going to get to a place where you and your twin flame are like that couple that's able to do a lot of things for themselves and others in the earthly realms in a financial sense. Next up, we have the Lemurian quartz. So in the Lemurian quartz, I do see here that practicing patience and just learning a little more how you can relax and just understanding more about yourself while you're on this path to being with your twin flame is going to give you everything that you need in order to successfully navigate your twin flame relationship. Because while a twin flame relationship is two people who are actually whole without one another, coming together, joining forces, and creating something so much more powerful than when you're separated, it does also sometimes take some nerves of steel, because in a sense you're also very similar to one another in lots of different aspects. So group number one, do know that learning to practice patience is not just going to help you in your career and in allowing money to flow in, but also with your twin flame relationship. So next we have the desk as well as the wheel that just popped right out of the pile of cards. Let's start off with the wheel. So I do see here in the wheel that it's completely okay for you to be really indecisive, because sometimes I see that you lose patience when you try to make a decision very quickly. So it's not necessarily that you lose patience because you're angry or because you kind of just want to rush, but more because you are very indecisive and you're not sure what decision you want to make, and you feel rushed in a sense of, oh, let me just make this decision quickly so I'm not holding other people up. So I do see here in the wheel that that is something that you would benefit from working on, group number one, just reminding yourself that it's okay to take up space and also to need more time to make decisions. As I can see here in the desk, that now you're being called to pay attention to your work. Many times at your work, you feel like you just want to act quickly or make a decision very quickly because you don't want to inconvenience other people, group number one, but it's really important that you're sure about the decisions that you're about to make, just because rushing through them is going to leave you with a result that you feel is just unsatisfying and not you. Just does not resonate with you. So never feel rushed or allow somebody to rush you into making a decision that you're not happy with. So next up we have this beautiful feather right here. This corresponds to the crane. So group number one, in the crane, one thing that I can see here is that you're soon going to enter a beneficial partnership. Luck and longevity bless this union. So that is exactly what we've been talking about in your twin flame reading. This just confirms it. This is literally just another energetic way and sign of the universe communicating to you through this reading that your twin flame relationship is beneficial, it's mature. It is a relationship that is entering your life as soon as you've been able to sort out any type of hindrances that you may have in your professional life or at your work. So your twin flame isn't far away. Next up, we have this beautiful feather right here. This belongs to the white owl. So in the white owl, I can see here that a lot of the questions that you ask yourself have answers that are already within you. So many times you look for answers on the outside, or you search for answers in other people. But group number one, I can see here in the white owl that deep down, you kind of already know about your twin flame. You already know what they're going to be like. You already know who you're going to end up with and what the relationship is going to be like. But sometimes you question that or you doubt yourself just because, of course, you're just human. You're not a narcissist. You're somebody who likes to look at themselves from a standpoint that is critical. You try to not be too critical, but sometimes, group number one, you can be kind of like overly harsh on yourself, which is why it's so important for you to just remember that yes, you do in fact have a lot of instinctual answers within you that another person couldn't give you. Answers that are exclusive to you and exclusive to your instincts. So let's figure out more about your twin flame. I have some letters within this bag. So let's see what letter we pull. We have a Q. So one thing that I can see here in the Q, group number one, is that a very unlikely letter is a part of your twin flame's first or last name, maybe your first or last name. So a letter that is unlikely, a letter that a lot of people would say, oh, this is impossible. But group number 1, you're going to know that this reading was meant for you, was tailored towards you, because you understand, like, okay, this is no coincidence that this letter showed up in exactly my reading. So this is going to be a sign that your twin flame is closer than you expected them to be. So next up, we have this little beautiful poodle with an intercontinental haircut. So I definitely see here that your twin flame is someone who is well groomed, somebody who maybe used to like do modeling as a child, used to put themselves out there in a way, and they may not be doing that anymore, but they definitely take amazing care of their appearance, group number 1. So look out for that in correspondence to your twin flame. Let's just get a little bit more information about who your twin flame is and potentially a zodiac sign, so that you know exactly what to look out for, group number 1. So first and foremost, we have the second house. So in the second house, I can see here assets, finances, lots of earthly things that are important to them. So they're definitely someone who is very career oriented, goal focused, maybe comes from a wealthy family. And next up, we have the Capricorn, an earth sign that fits in perfectly with the second house. We were talking about earthly things, material things. I do see here in the Capricorn that their birth chart is filled with a lot of earth sign energy. So look out for that, group number 1. That is an amazing match for you. Furthermore, if you don't know much about Capricorns are very hardworking, they're grounded, they are people who are ambitious, and sometimes they can be very serious and materialistic. So don't be surprised if when you meet this person, you feel like maybe they are slightly arrogant, when it's actually just them being really focused on their grind. So they're not arrogant at all. They're just the type of person who is very much focused on having all of the things that they need, on making sure that their loved ones and their family is set before they worry about anyone else. So they're very ambitious, goal-oriented, and they definitely don't have much understanding for people who say are always bored or never have anything to do, because that's something that is pretty foreign to them. They like to have something to do. They like to have a mission and a purpose. So group number 1, this is the reading that I received for your twin flame. I really hope that you enjoyed how multifaceted that this reading was. I hope that you found it insightful. Let me know down below in the comment section if you made it all the way to the end of your reading by leaving a little poodle or like dog emoji down below in the comment section. That way you can let me and others know that this is the group that you ended up choosing. Thank you so much for joining me in this divine space, group number 1. Know that I'm sending you so much love, and I'll catch you in another one of my readings. Hello, group number 2, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the Angel Answers Oracle deck. So this is what the deck of your choice looked like. Let's move into your reading to figure out exactly what messages are present in regards to you and your twin flame. We have There's Something Better. So group number 2, you may have thought that you met your twin flame already, that you met somebody who you were meant to be with at an earlier point in your life. Group number 2, maybe you've also worried that you've missed them or that they've kind of passed you by. And I do want you to know here in There's Something Better showing up right at the beginning of your reading that you definitely still have an amazing twin flame that's coming towards you. So if you've ever feared that maybe your twin flame has already passed by or that you've already missed out on meeting them, group number 2, that is not the case. They are yet to show up within your life. I can see here in meditation brings answers, group number 2, that going deep within and allowing yourself to meditate on answers is a really therapeutic and healing way for you to receive the answers from the universe that you desire and that you feel will give you real peace of mind when it comes to your twin flame. So if you've been skipping out on your meditations, or you've been a little lazy when it comes to meditating, group number 2, make sure that you engage regularly in meditation again. Next up, we have the 3 of coins. So I do see here in the 3 of coins, group number 2, that your twin flame is someone who likes things in the material realms. They like material possessions, and it can be hard for them to let go of certain things. So don't be surprised if your twin flame lives in a beautiful house or apartment, or drives a beautiful car, or owns a really amazing watch. Next up, we have the 8 of chalices. So I do see here that they have a bit of like a melancholic vibe to them. They have a little bit of like a mysterious vibe to them that just screams this yearning, this deep loneliness. So I do see that your twin flame may have been a bit neglected as a child. So maybe they were a child of an immature or childish parent. Maybe one of their parents or both of their parents were narcissists and didn't pay as much attention to them as they truly needed. I can see here in the Page of Coins that that made them feel kind of inadequate. That kind of made them feel like in order to compensate, they wanted to be successful in the material realm. They wanted to be able to own nice things in order to show everyone who did not believe in them or put them down in any sense of the manner that they're a lot more capable of success than anyone ever expected. So they are stubborn in a good sense of proving people wrong. So if you tell your twin flame that they're unable to do something, they will then find a way to make it happen regardless of what the opposition may look like. Next up, we have the 7 of coins. Now, group number 2, I do see here in the 7 of coins that they've been with people who have used them in the past. Yes, group number 2. So your twin flame has been in a relationship before where someone has used them for their material possessions. Someone has used them for status. Somebody has used them just in order to further their own career and their own standpoint, because they could see that your twin flame was in a comfortable economic position or was able to establish authority for themselves in their career, okay, in their professional life. So they have been used in the past, and now as a result of that, they're really wary of new people. Next up, we have the purse that just fell right out of the pile, which just ties in beautifully with what we were talking about. So the cards are speaking loud and clear and giving us more information about your twin flame's romantic past, group number 2. So in the purse, I can see here that they are now paying way more attention to their finances, and it's really important for them that they only share things in the earthly realms with people who they're sure of. So they're very afraid to share what they have. They're maybe even seem like that stingy rich person, that stereotype rich person that you would see like in movies. So I do see here in the purse that they're very weary of how they spend their money, who they spend their money with, and they're most likely not going to be generous right off the bat. So this is something that you may notice right at the beginning of the relationship, that they seem weary of what your intentions might be. I do see here in the flowers, group number 2, that you're destined to be in a twin flame relationship that brings happiness and joy. You're destined to be in a twin flame relationship that feels perfect. So if you've ever wondered about what your twin flame relationship will be like, don't worry about the outcome. Just allow yourself to enjoy the process of getting to know this person and showing them that there are still people out there who are trustworthy and who aren't just with them for their money or for what they can possibly do for you from an economic standpoint. So you are really the one who is going to show your twin flame that there are still good people out there. Next up, we have the coins. Now, group number 2, are you going to marry well or what? Okay, you're going to be in a relationship, well, not necessarily a marriage, but you know what I mean, a partnership, a marriage if you desire, of course. Not everybody wants to get married, but I do see here in the coins that your twin flame relationship is going to be filled with financial abundance and financial success. There's no other way to say it. I see here in the coins that with your twin flame comes more financial freedom. With your twin flame comes a lot of money. So yes, they may be wary and careful at the beginning, as they rightfully should be, after they've kind of been like ripped off in love before, but after they trust you, things are going to be flowing in the earthly sense, and you're not going to have a financial worry anymore. Next up, we have the 6 of Swords. And now group number 2, I do see here in the 6 of Swords that it's kind of all about moving from a very choppy waters type of place, from a place of insecurity into a place of getting comfortable. So with your twin flame, at the beginning, don't be surprised if you're not quite sure whether they like you or not, if you're not quite sure whether they trust you or not, because they will be careful and they will keep secrets because they're trying to protect their very own wealth, or their wealth and their family's wealth, especially if their story is coming from a privileged background, but wanting to make it on their own despite the fact that their parents didn't believe that they could. Next up, we have the 2 of Diamonds. So in the 2 of Diamonds, I can definitely see that they are really committed to juggling between their personal life and their finances. So because they have what they need in the earthly realm, they are not going to be, how should I say, choosing money over family. They will always try to maintain a good balance between your relationship as well as their work life. So work is definitely something that's important to them, but it's not something that's always going to come first. So let's figure out what kind of letters are part of their name. So we have the letter D that is a part of their name. As well as the letter U. Okay, so I can definitely see here within your reading that we're receiving more clarity from the universe on who this person may be, little hints and just tips overall. Okay, and next up we have this little yoga symbol here from my charms bag. So I can see that there's someone who is flexible in every sense of the word. Not that you have to be flexible to do yoga, but I can definitely see here that they're the type of person who is able to stretch just like this person. So they're flexible emotionally. They don't feel like the relationship has to be just one way. They're flexible with roles within the relationship, and just overall yoga may be something that they really love and have gotten into practicing recently. So let's just pick another charm, shall we? We have this lizard. So I do see here in the lizard that one thing that they can sometimes struggle with is the part of their brain, the amygdala, I believe that it is, which is the reptilian brain, which is that part of their brain that acts in a very instinctual way and kind of just goes for it. So your twin flame can be highly impulsive, group number 2. This can be really fun in many ways, and this may be a way how you and your twin flame are able to bond and able to go on really fun once-in-a-lifetime adventures with one another. I do also know here in this gecko or just like reptile figure that we have here that they're the type of person who is maybe more cold-blooded than warm-blooded. Okay, so it really depends on what mood you're in, and they will adjust to that. So warm-blooded animals, you know, they just always have warm blood, but cold-blooded animals, they will adjust the temperature according to their surrounding. So I do see here that that's maybe something that is a blessing as well as a curse, depending on what the situation is with your twin flame. Next up, we have the shungite. So for your twin flame, group number 2, it is so important that they surround themselves with positive people only, because they know that they are this cold-blooded animals. They understand that it's so important for them, due to being cold-blooded, to surround themselves with people who are positive and with people who have an amazing impact on them. They truly do take quotes seriously that go kind of like you are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. They believe in that and they live by that. Next up, we have the tourmalinated quartz. So in the tourmalinated quartz, I do see group number 2, that your twin flame relationship may be stopped when you get in your own way. So you may think to yourself that you're not meant to be with this person, especially if there is a lot of difference in your economic standpoints, if you feel like they come from such a different background or they're just in such a different financial position than you are. So this can be something that brings a lot of insecurity into you. And this doesn't necessarily need to mean that, oh, they are so much well off than you. They may be from a family that brought a lot of financial stability, and they may have created financial stability themselves, but maybe your financial stability is still on a completely other level. I do see here in the tourmalinated quartz that just dating in different worlds, being from different parts of the world, maybe quite literally, could be something here that you feel gets in the way. But it doesn't actually get in the way. It's just kind of like your thoughts around it that can sometimes make you feel doubtful. Next up, we have the bull. So in the bull, I do see here that it's important for you to show strength and fortitude, and to remind yourself that just because maybe not everyone's relationship with someone from a completely different economic or just social background didn't work out, that doesn't mean that the same is going to be the case for you. Group number 2, I want you to understand here in the bull that there will always be people who have something to say when people are in love, okay, when they see that other people are happy. So it doesn't really matter what they're pointing out. Make sure that as long as you and your twin flame are in a good place, that that's all that matters. Next up, we have a filled chair. So the filled chair stands for someone new entering your life, group number 2. So I can definitely see that in correspondence to your twin flame, this is a sign that they're coming into your life pretty soon. This is a sign that your twin flame is well on their way, and that you just need to get out of your own way, like we spoke about in detourmalinated quartz, and allow it to happen. Your biggest rival, group number 2, is really you and your chronic overthinking. I can see here in the bear that when it comes to your overthinking, this often happens around money, around feeling maybe uncomfortable about money, maybe even just going on a date. Group number 2, you are already cringing at splitting the bill. Who's going to pay for the bill? Do you pay? Do they pay? Do you ask to split? That just whole thing makes you feel really uncomfortable. And I can see here in the dog that just confiding in a friend that you know will get you and understand you, and you know will make you feel more calm and more relaxed, is the best thing for you to do. So group number 2, get support from that friend that you know gets you and is always there for you and is always going to like make you feel more calm and understood, and is going to just give you the support that you need in order to stay positive and not self-sabotage. Bring that person closer into your life. Make it clear to them that you really value their opinion and their support. Don't feel like you're a burden. They're more than happy to help. That's one thing that the dog stands for, a companion that is happy to be there, and allow someone who you really trust to be a driving force in you just not self-sabotaging in this twin flame relationship. And if you feel like you don't have anyone like that in your life right now, When you're in a good mood, journal about all of the things that are amazing about yourself. And when you're in doubt, go and read that. That is a really powerful way to just have like a stash of confidence written down that you can access at any given point or whenever you feel like you need it. So group number 2, this is the reading that I received for you. I truly hope that you enjoyed it and that you found it insightful. Leave a little bear emoji down below in the comment section to let me and others know that this is a group that you ended up choosing. Thank you so much for spending this divine time with me. Know that I'm thinking of you and sending you love and prosperity, and I'll catch you in another one of my videos. Hello, group number 3, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the Whispers of Love Oracle deck. So I want to get straight into it so we can figure out more about you and your twin flame relationship. First and foremost, we have honesty is essential. So one thing that I can see here, group number 3, and honesty is essential, is that you have to be truthful to yourself about what you want in a twin flame. Now, group number 3, be honest with yourself right now. Have you kind of been downplaying what you want out of fear of being too high maintenance or, wanting too much out of love? If you have caught yourself saying that, oh, maybe I shouldn't want someone who is that successful or good looking or the entire package because it doesn't exist anyway. If you have caught yourself saying something like that, I do want you to know that there's a reason why you felt drawn to this deck, and it's because you need to know that that is nonsense. The perfect person for you does exist with all bells and whistles that you desire for them to be decked out with, group number 3, okay? There is no such thing as you being too high maintenance. You having standards and wanting something amazing for yourself, that is not something that you should ever feel ashamed about. Next up, we have like attracts like. So the more confident you can be and the more you can truly just believe in your own self-worth, the more you're going to attract somebody who feels the same way about you. Now, group number 3, it's just so important to note that we live in a society and in a world where it seems as wanting an amazing partner for yourself is deemed as unrealistic or deemed as, well, be a little bit more reasonable. But no, that's not what we're about, group number 3. That's not what this channel is about. Amazing relationships, twin flame relationships are out there, but we're often just taught or pressured into settling for less than we deserve. So I do want you to know here in like attracts like, as well as honesty is essential, that first, be honest with yourself about what you want, and then match that energy, group number 3. Match that amazing energy. Believe that you're amazing, and you will attract somebody into your life who is secure, who knows themselves, who loves themselves, and in turn, you both can truly be in a healthy situation with one another. Next up, we have the horse. So I do see here in the horse that it's going to be a pretty short journey to your twin flame, a shorter journey than you expected, because sometimes tasks just seem really daunting and seem really big when they're really not that big of a deal. And I do see here that when it comes to love, group number 3, you've kind of maybe blown a few things out of proportion unnecessarily, and it's made them seem more daunting than they need to be. I do see here in the forest that this all boils down to you maybe not being completely clear about what it is that you desire and what it is that you are going to go for in love. But we have spoken about that in honesty being essential, and the more honest you are, the more clearly you will be able to see, and the more clearly you will be able to manifest the type of person that you truly desire into your life. Next up, we have the kangaroo. So now group number 3, in the kangaroo, I do see here that you need to plan ahead, and it's so essential for you to ensure that you have a plan for your personal life. Now, lots of readers will just tell you to allow things to happen and everything will happen in its own time and so on and so forth, and that is often appropriate but not always. And I do see here in the kangaroo that you are being called to think ahead and to plan ahead. So if you're already of a certain age, or you feel as though it would be best for you to create some sort of safety net. Like, for example, if you know that you want children, but at the same time, you're not sure about when you would truly like to settle to have them, definitely look into freezing eggs or freezing man juices, whatever you need to do in order to ensure that it will always be an option for you. So that's what I mean here in planning ahead. The same goes for relocating. So if you already know that you maybe want to relocate, why not try dating apps in that area that you're going to relocate to anyways, rather than meeting somebody where you are now, even though you know you want to end up in a completely different place. Next up, we have the King of Swords. So I do see here in the King of Swords, group number 3, that your twin flame has a lot of this air sign energy that is very strong and, in a sense, also very assertive. Okay, air signs are Libras, Geminis, as well as Aquariuses, and I do want you to know here in the King of Swords that your twin flame is most likely an air sign who is older than you, who is more established in their business practices than you are, and they are looked up to by other people, by peers. Next up, we have the Two of Wands. So in the Two of Wands, I can definitely see here that you bring out their kind of like immature or childish side sometimes, because they feel like they always have to be so serious in their place of employment, in their workplace, but with you, they can truly and honestly let loose and let go of anything that they've been holding on to. So you're almost like a safe haven for your twin flame and that person who always lets them embrace who they truly are. Next up, we have the Six of Coins. So in the Six of Coins, group number 3, I do see here that your twin flame is somebody who is really mindful of their finances and somebody who thinks like twice or 3 times before they buy something. So they might be really stingy on themselves, and you may see them not really spoiling themselves just because they want to make sure that there's always enough for you and the people who they care about. Next up, we have the Four of Chalices. So I do see here in the Four of Chalices that they're feeling kind of alone. They're feeling kind of like they are the only one in this world who gets them, like they don't really have anyone who understands what they're going through or where they're coming from. So this person is a loner, okay? Group number 3, your twin flame is most likely not someone who feels elated or gets energy out of hanging out with other people. They feel more energized when they're by themselves, and they feel more energized when they're in a group of people who they can trust and who they really feel like they can count on. So let's bring a few charms into your reading. I just reused one of the bags from my online store as a charm bag because it works amazing. So we have Paris. And now group number 3 in Paris, well, the Eiffel Tower, but we all know what the Eiffel Tower stands for. So when we're talking of relocating, I can definitely see here that Europe, maybe even France, Paris in particular, may be an option for you and your twin flame, and maybe a place that you end up visiting with one another at least. And next we have the Elephant. So don't be surprised if Africa or Asia is also on your bucket list of places to travel. Let me do a quick close-up for you on the Elephant. So there we go. There are elephants in Africa as well as Asia. Those are 2 different types of elephants. Nevertheless, they are elephants. So I can definitely see here that just traveling, seeing different cities, but also nature and animals is a part of what you and your twin flame are going to be getting up to with one another. Okay, so seeing the world is a big part of your twin flame relationship. So let's figure out exactly what letters that your twin flame's name has within it. So we have a D. So that is an important part of your twin flame's name, as well as a J. So you may already be very familiar with these letters. They may be an essential part of your name as well, but I do want you to just take this as a little extra piece of information, a little extra detail that other readings may not be able to provide, because you know, group number 3, I'm all about giving you as much information as I can in a very clear and concise way. But let's move a little further into figuring out more details about your twin flame relationship. Next up, we have the Ten of Swords reversed. So in the Ten of Swords reversed, I do see here that your twin flame is in a place where they're maybe at their lowest and they need to recover. Okay, so they've been through a really tough time and they're trying to pick themselves back up and turn things around for themselves. I do see here in the Seven of Diamonds that they've been through a tough time mentally and emotionally, but when it comes to the earthly realms, when it comes to their finances, they're okay. So it's not their job that they're struggling with. It's more just their standpoint in a mental way. Okay, so they may be dealing with some sort of like mental troubles where they feel really depressed, or maybe they struggle to find a higher sense of self-worth and self-esteem. I see here in the Page of Crystals reversed that they often feel like they are really good at what they do professionally, but they struggle to feel interesting in the personal kind of realm. Okay, they feel like maybe they're not interesting enough for you, or they're not good enough for you. So just overall, you may have this air of intimidation that causes them to be really shy about their own hobbies. And it could also be because they have like very quirky hobbies that not many other people could relate to. Next up, we have the Seven of Cups reversed. So I do see here in the Seven of Cups reversed, group number 3, that they're the type of person who has always had a lot of different people to pick from romantically, but they never ended up picking anyone, not because they didn't necessarily want to, but more because they're so aloof of the fact that they are attractive, that the fact that they're not full of themselves is what makes them the most attractive. That is what makes them someone who is really actually hot in a sense, because they're so clueless of how cute that they really are. So I do see here in the Seven of Cups that you may think to yourself, wait, hold on. Like, my twin flame is someone who is really good looking. Like, why do they feel like they have to worry about being interesting or attractive enough when they are a total catch? Now, group number 3, they don't know that, and that's possibly one of the best parts of your twin flame, group number 3, because they're just so humble and down to earth. People would never expect that. Next up, we have the Chrysocolla. So in the Chrysocolla, I do see here in correspondence to the Ten of Swords reversed that they need that fresh start, and that you're going to be a part of the fresh start in their life. So when you and your twin flame meet, they're going to have just come out of a very difficult era, or how should I say, just point in time in their life, and moving on with you is going to feel like a breath of fresh air and like a new beginning where they can travel, where they can find their confidence again. So hence why they may be less confident than they would like to be when they meet you, just because they've gone through a rough patch, and you're really that person who is going to help them regain confidence and rebuild their confidence. And in a sense, you are just almost like not a savior, because they didn't need that, group number 3, but you're that person who comes just at the right moment as they're slowly rebuilding to a place of feeling happy and elated about life. I do see here in the Apophyllite that your positivity is something that they love so deeply within you, group number 3. So they love that you're a positive person. They love that you're a glass half full rather than half empty type of person. And that's why they like having you around. They know to stay away from people who are naysayers, from people who just always see the negatives. And that's definitely something that they will avoid at all costs. So if there's ever anyone around you and your twin flame who just has really bad energy, don't be surprised if your twin flame is nowhere to be found, because they're just trying to like gain space from that situation. Next up, we have this beautiful red feather, which belongs to the cardinal. Now, group number 3, I do see here in the cardinal that they feel as though you're the more confident one in the relationship. Okay, they look up to you for confidence. They look up to you to find kind of like belief in themselves. Now, this is not something that shows. You would only know this when you truly get to know your twin flame. Like, to the outside world, nobody would suspect that they're not as confident as they seem, because here in the King of Swords, they make a very confident appearance to people who don't know them, but you truly know them and you understand that they're rebuilding. Next up, we have the Goose. So I do see here in the Goose that they're all about taking action in the relationship with you. So they're not the type of person who is going to wait for things to just miraculously appear. They're all about taking action. They're all about, booking those flights, going to see those beautiful places all over the world, and using their financial means and possibilities in order to create unforgettable memories with you, group number 3. So this is the reading that I received for you, group number 3. I know it was really long. Let me know down below in the comment section if you enjoyed this type of really lengthy and detailed reading about your twin flame. If you made it all the way to the end, leave a little flower emoji down below in the comment section to let me and others know that this is the group that you ended up choosing. Thank you for sharing this divine space with me. Know that I'm sending you so much love, and I'll catch you in another one of my videos. Hello, group number 4, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the Starseed Oracle deck, group number 4. Let's move into your reading to figure out more information on your twin flame connection, shall we? First and foremost, we have the Cosmic Heart. And now, group number 4, I can see here that your twin flame connection is full of potency, full of devotion. So once you and your twin flame are with one another, that's all that exists. You're never going to look at anyone else in a romantic sense. You're never going to want to be with anybody else in this type of way. You only see your twin flame, and your twin flame only has eyes for you. Next up, we have You're Not Alone. So while it may feel as though you and your twin flame are worlds apart, or maybe you just have this deep sense of loneliness, I do want you to know here that isolation is something that I think a lot of us have been feeling in this last year and a half, and it's definitely something that can make you feel as though there's no connection there. Like, making a physical connection is especially difficult, but I do want you to understand here that there are a lot of communities that can help you with just that. There are a lot of people who are dealing with being by themselves. So look for forums, look for different ways how you can connect with other people. And if you have never tried, for example, online dating, make sure that you allow that to be a possibility. Now, does that mean that you have to, say, go on a date immediately or go on any dates at all with people who you've met online? No, but it may just be a great way for you to get in touch with other people and for you to see what's out there. Next up, we have Star Bathing. So I can see here, group number 4, for you, that there's an activation of a body of light for you. So it could be that in conjunction to your star sign, that you're sensing some sort of cosmic activation, some sort of astrological shift that's going on that is exclusive to you and your birth chart. And I do see here in the Golden Children that you're allowing your inner child to come out a lot more. So this is especially true for any of you who have had a traumatic childhood. And with traumatic, I don't mean that there necessarily had to be a lot of violence that is physical. I feel like oftentimes people really underestimate emotional trauma, especially the emotional trauma of isolation. That's one thing that I want to talk to you about in You're Not Alone, as well as the Golden Children, okay? Because often when you're growing up and maybe you feel as though you were neglected or your needs weren't taken seriously, that is definitely something that can make you feel as an adult still inappropriate and like you're just so much in need of this type of tenderness and of being a child when you were never truly able to embrace being a child growing up. If you always had a lot of responsibilities or a lot of things that you had to just figure out by yourself, it's no surprise that now when things are aligning for you and you're with a twin flame who fully embraces you and who only has eyes for you, that all of a sudden sudden a very childlike side would appear within you and will just like kind of spice up the relationship in a fun way. So you being up for any adventure, for having fun, and for just not taking things so seriously. Next up, we have the Eight of Wands. So in the Eight of Wands, group number 4, I can definitely see here that there's always lots going on between you and your twin flame in the relationship. If you're not with your twin flame yet, don't worry, you would definitely benefit from resting up right now, group number 4, because you and your twin flame are going to go on lots of great adventures with one another, and you're always going to have something cooking, something brewing. Next up, we have the Five of Coins. So in the Five of Coins, I definitely see that you and your twin flame are going to enable one another to spend a lot of money. Okay, group number 4. So it is essential that you focus on your career and make sure that you have enough financial stability, because you and your twin flame are no strangers to surprising one another with really amazing, lavish gifts or trips. Now, that doesn't mean that there will be like financial difficulties that are plaguing you. It just means that you need a lot more to live than, say, other twin flame couples. Next up, we have the Page of Swords. So in the Page of Swords, I can definitely see that your twin flame has really fun and dynamic energy. They're the type of person who has a lot of air sign energy. So think Aquarius, a Gemini, as well as Libra energy that's sprinkled throughout their birth chart. And I do see here in the Three of Coins that money comes very easily to your twin flame. So while it's very important for you to make sure that you have enough of it, do know that you enable one another to enjoy the finer things in life. So group number 4, you definitely have somebody who matches how you've always dreamt of your life to be. It's just really important that you keep each other on the right track of ensuring that you don't lose oversight over your finances and over what's going on in your bank accounts. Next up, we have the Azurite. So in the Azurite, I do see here that your twin flame is someone who is really focused, and you will notice that when you meet your twin flame or when you're with your twin flame that they pay full attention to you. They would rather not pay attention at all and just be honest and say like, hey, I wasn't paying attention, than just like half-heartedly pay attention. They're a all or nothing type of person. They're the type of person who finds like nothing more disrespectful than someone who's just like on their phone and just says like, yeah, okay, even though they're not really listening. So your twin flame is definitely someone who is big on like, if they pay attention, they pay full attention, and if they're not really into it, then they're just going to tell you that they're not properly paying attention, but they never do anything half-heartedly. Next up, we have the Iolite. So in the Iolite, group number 4, I can see here that your twin flame has gone through a lot when it comes to their money mindset. So we have spoken about finances quite a bit with your twin flame. I want you to know that your twin flame's financial mindset has changed a lot. So they've probably been educating themselves quite a lot when it comes to money. They've been spending a lot of time figuring out exactly how they can work smarter, not harder, so they can enjoy life, because you and your twin flame are really people who like to enjoy life. So you're not just about making a lot of money and hoarding, you're about experiences and knowing that you truly lived. But let's figure out a little more about who your twin flame truly is, shall we? We have the Libra. So just as we spoke about before in the Page of Swords, they are an air sign. A Libra confirms it, hits the nail on the head. They have a lot of air sign energy within their birth chart. So don't be surprised if they have a lot of just a Libra sprinkled within their chart. This energy is very diplomatic. This energy seeks harmony and balance within relationships. I do also see here in the 10th house that your twin flame is someone who has a lot of status, someone who is looked up to. So this may be because they have just done a great deed when it comes to their career, when it comes to their professional life. So think, for example, a scientist who created some sort of cure, some sort of antidote, or for example, a musician who was able to create a song or a beat that made it across the entire globe. That type of recognition is what I see your twin flame having. So I have my bag of charms here. Let's see what kind of messages come through. We have the airplane. So I do see here, group number 4, that your twin flame is someone who is really well traveled. They're definitely somebody who has been on quite a few flights, okay, maybe even private jet flights, as that's what this looks like. And I do see here in the heart on a lock that they have definitely felt some feelings of love, but they've never truly felt like in love. They've never truly felt like they wanted to give their heart to anyone, because there has always been a little bit of distrust, if you will. Then we have the parrot. So I do see here in the parrot that they feel as though being with you is so different than anything that they've ever experienced. And this is definitely just shows how much they just kind of said what they felt like they had to say. Okay, they almost like copied what other friends would say about their love life prior to meeting you. So when they were in relationships prior to you, prior to your twin flame connection with them, they would just say, oh yeah, everything's great, everything's fine, like everything just feels really amazing, even though it really felt kind of off. But in the parrot, I see that they felt like, oh, they just had to say that. They just had to kind of conform. But in the heart on a lock, you know, their heart was never truly in it until they met you. Next up, we have the boot. So in the boot, group number 4, I do see here that you're being called to increase your efforts to get out of your comfort zone and make it a possibility to meet your twin flame. Now, group number 4, if you're guilty of just staying at home all the time, even though maybe you are capable of meeting new people or dating or going online and going on a reputable site, increase your efforts if you want to meet your twin flame sooner rather than later, because sometimes you can get in your own way. I do see here in the ladder that climbing towards success in the romantic realm is something that will require some energy from you, okay? Your twin flame is not just going to break into your house, bust through the window and say, hello, hi, your twin flame is here. Like, you're actually going to have to leave the house, group number 4. I know it's a really daunting thought. I feel the same way. You're actually going to have to like make an effort and get out of your comfort zone. I can see here in the shark that it's important for you to take good care of yourself, okay? Or there will be some sort of loss in material wealth. Now, how does this correlate to your twin flame? So not being reckless. They have a very childlike energy more often than not. So you have to be the responsible one, group number 4. And you may say to yourself, not again, I don't always want to be the responsible one. Well, group number 4, the alternative is allowing your twin flame to be that person. And let me just say, that's not who you want in charge of your finances as a duo, as a couple, as a partnership. Okay, so make sure that you are always in charge of anything finance related. So let's just get a few more details about your twin flame. We have the letter C, group number 4. So this is an important and prominent letter within the name of your twin flame. Let's see what other letters are a part of their name. We have F as well. Okay, so group number 4, these are the 2 letters, and the reading that I received for your twin flame situation, I really hope that you could appreciate my honesty. I hope it resonated with you. Leave a little shark emoji down below in the comment section if you made it to the end of your reading, and to let me and others know that it resonated with you. I have the links to the deck as well as my How to Become a Great Tarot Reader course linked down below in the description box, so feel free to check that out. Know that I'm sending you so much love and prosperity, and I'll speak to you in another one of my videos.